It was some kind of secret outlet for him. And now history's kind of changed, and because Disney, made Alice, you think of Alice in Wonderland as the blue dress with the white fringe and all that. And the most interesting thing I found about all his books, there's no description of any of the characters. The Mad Hatter's never even described as having a hat. He's just called the Mad Hatter. And I thought that's why it has so much strength, because it really makes you imagine all the characters. Alice is never described as a blonde. She's never described in wearing that dress. And so I was reading his diaries, and I was thinking, wow, this really sounds scary, too much like me. His father was a religious, not a priest, whatever the case might be, because it was in that period in Ireland and in England where there was a lot of turmoil. So I guess he was a deacon, is what he was. And Charles Dodgson was expected to be like Charles Dodgson Sr. And this is a guy who is left-handed and deaf in his right ear. And he's an artist and a mathematician. So it's like the left and right, it's like you couldn't create a more ridiculous, over-the-top recipe for schizophrenic, and at the time, aphasia, which is like the separating of two sides. And he stuttered, and at the time, stammering and stuttering was a sign of the splitting of your personality. And so I'm reading this, and I'm like, this is the story that nobody ever picked up on, and I don't even have to create it. So I started writing about it. And unfortunately, I started really discovering too many similarities. And I think everyone expected my record to really be inspired by that. My record ended up emerging out of a black hole of me feeling like I can't accomplish anything, I can't do anything for such a long period, that the first thing I did was I wrote and sang the song on the record, Just a Car Crash Away. And it's one vocal, it's one first take. It's very raw. Everyone thinks this record is very raw, but it's not raw in the sense that it didn't take any effort. It was just raw in the sense that I wanted to leave all the flaws with musical rough edges and vocal rough edges. I wanted to leave them because I thought that made it real. And I didn't want to also...
I circled it and wrote a save.
Oh, good. I didn't want to, I think that it's like I'm at the period in my career and in my life where a lot of my favorite artists, whether it be like the Stones or Iggy Pop or Bowie, it's like The Idiot, Scary Monsters, Give Me Shelter, all that stuff, that's like way into their career. And that's the period where a lot of people who in this day and age don't ever survive that long always do the wrong thing. They do the super overproduced record that sounds too clean and too polished, and I could do that. But I had no interest in it. I was in the position where I don't want to ever make music again because I'm disgusted with the music industry, unless I want to make what I want to make.